Dave Chappelle is worth an estimated $60 million, but you wouldn't guess that from the way he lives. Despite being one of the most iconic comedians of the 21st century, Chappelle has long rejected the flashy, high-spending lifestyle often associated with Hollywood success. Back in 2005, he famously turned down a $50 million deal to continue Chappelle's show with Comedy Central, walking away from what most people would consider a dream offer. The reason? His mental well-being and creative integrity mattered more than a paycheck. After disappearing from the public eye, Chappelle resurfaced, not in Beverly Hills or Manhattan, but in Yellow Springs, Ohio, a rural town with a population under 4,000. He lives in a modest home, shops locally, and mingles freely with neighbors. To them, he's not a celebrity, he's just Dave. He doesn't own a mansion or drive around in a fleet of exotic cars. Instead, he values personal freedom, quiet, and authenticity over wealth and recognition. Chappelle avoids social media, rarely gives interviews, and has made it clear that privacy is one of his highest priorities. His comedy, often infused with philosophical insight and social commentary, reflects the simplicity and depth of the life he's chosen. He's known to host casual performances in his community, not for publicity, but for connection. Where many celebrities equate success with excess, Chappelle has found liberation in restraint. His minimalist lifestyle isn't born from necessity but from a deliberate refusal to let fame define him. In a culture obsessed with consumption, Dave Chappelle stands out as someone who proves that the richest lives are often the least flashy. He lives like he's poor, because for him, that's the richest way to live. Terry Crews. Terry Crews may have the physique of a superhero and the resume of a blockbuster star, but his lifestyle reflects the discipline of someone who never forgets where he came from. Before his breakthrough in Hollywood, Crews endured years of financial instability, working odd jobs to support his family while pursuing an unpredictable acting career. Even after achieving fame through roles in Everybody Hates Chris, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and hosting America's Got Talent, Crews chose a path of financial humility rather than indulgence. He's spoken openly about past money troubles and the dangerous mindset of living beyond one's means. At one point, Crews admits to having blown large sums early in his NFL and acting careers, which led to stress and tension in his marriage. Those hard lessons taught him the value of budgeting and long-term planning, habits he still practices today. Crews and his wife, Rebecca, famously live on a strict budget, investing carefully and avoiding unnecessary luxury purchases. While many celebrities upgrade to sprawling estates and luxury cars, Crews keeps it practical and intentional, preferring financial security over public displays of wealth. His lifestyle isn't just about frugality, it's about philosophy. Crews has emphasized that real power lies in self-control. He doesn't see wealth as a symbol of success but as a resource to be managed responsibly. He's written extensively about toxic spending habits in his memoir Manhood and uses his platform to advocate for financial literacy, especially among young men and aspiring entertainers. In Hollywood, where image often overshadows substance, Terry Crews is a rare figure, someone who not only talks about financial wisdom but lives it. His decision to live modestly, even at the peak of his fame, is a testament to his character, and a reminder that true strength includes saying no to excess. Keegan-Michael Key. Keegan-Michael Key has built a career on sharp wit, high-energy characters, and undeniable comedic timing, but when the cameras are off, his lifestyle is anything but extravagant. Best known as one half of the legendary sketch duo Key and Peele, Key has reached impressive heights in the entertainment industry. Yet, despite that success, he avoids the loud, celebrity-centric lifestyle that often accompanies fame in Hollywood. Rather than investing in luxury cars or mega mansions, Key directs his wealth and energy into causes that align with his values. A passionate supporter of arts education and mental health initiatives, Key is known for donating generously to community programs and nonprofits. His modest lifestyle stems not from necessity, but from intention. He simply doesn't find joy in material excess. Key grew up in Detroit and later studied at the University of Detroit Mercy and Pennsylvania State University, experiences that grounded him in humility and purpose. Those roots have stayed with him, even as his career has expanded into voice acting, Broadway, and feature films. Off-screen, he maintains a private, grounded home life with his wife, producer and director Elisa Pugliese. The two are rarely seen at lavish Hollywood events and prefer time spent together working on creative projects or supporting charitable endeavors. In interviews, Key has shared that keeping life simple allows him to stay focused and creatively sharp. Rather than chasing the perks of fame, he's more concerned with creating meaningful work, whether it's performing Shakespeare, crafting a sketch, or lending his voice to animated features. His understated lifestyle isn't about deprivation, it's about clarity. Keegan-Michael Key proves that success in Hollywood doesn't have to come at the cost of simplicity. In a world obsessed with image, he chooses purpose over pretense, and meaning over materialism. Donald Glover. Donald Glover is a true multi-hyphenate, actor, writer, director, producer, and Grammy-winning musician under the name Childish Gambino. With such a stacked resume and critical acclaim across multiple fields, you might expect him to live like Hollywood royalty. But Glover is anything but conventional. He lives well below his means and shuns the trappings of celebrity life. Despite his growing net worth, estimated at over $35 million, he's rarely seen flaunting designer clothes, luxury homes, or exotic vacations. What sets Glover apart isn't just his talent but his intentional rejection of materialism. He's admitted in interviews that he's not interested in Hollywood culture and often prefers to work independently. While he could easily own properties in LA or New York's most expensive zip codes, Glover has chosen to live a quiet, relatively private life with his partner and children. Even his fashion choices, often minimal and vintage, reflect his desire to live simply. Creatively, Glover's focus has always been on message over money. His work on Atlanta has won him Emmys and widespread acclaim, but he remains elusive, rarely making media appearances or engaging on social media. He's more concerned with impact than with fame. His Grammy-winning track, This Is America, is a prime example, an artistic risk that prioritized cultural commentary over commercial appeal. He once admitted that if he weren't famous, he'd still be creating in some small studio somewhere. That mindset is at the heart of how he lives, creatively rich, but materially modest. Glover's lifestyle reflects a deeper philosophy: art doesn't need flash to have power, and money doesn't need to scream to be meaningful. In a world where attention is currency, Donald Glover's quiet presence speaks volumes. He doesn't live like a star, he lives like an artist who never sold out. Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry may be one of the most financially successful filmmakers in the world, with a net worth reportedly exceeding $1 billion, but his lifestyle remains rooted in humility. Born into poverty in New Orleans and enduring a childhood filled with hardship, Perry built his empire from scratch. That journey shaped a mindset that even immense wealth hasn't shaken. Rather than indulging in a life of non-stop luxury, Perry chooses simplicity, privacy, and purpose. Though he owns a few properties, including a mansion in Georgia, Perry spends most of his time working from Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, a massive production facility that rivals Hollywood lots in scale. But unlike many moguls, he built this empire to empower others. The studio has created jobs for thousands, particularly in the Black community, and stands as a symbol of economic self-determination. Perry rarely flaunts his success. He rarely appears in lavish outfits or splashes across social media with luxury toys. He said many times that true wealth isn't about what you show, it's about what you do with it. Perry is also known for his quiet but generous philanthropy. He's paid rent for struggling families, donated millions to disaster relief, and even covered funeral costs for strangers. These acts of kindness rarely make headlines, because Perry doesn't do them for attention. He does them because he remembers being the man who needed help. Despite his billionaire status, Perry has stated that he finds more peace in giving than in buying. He drives his own car, avoids lavish parties, and stays largely out of tabloid culture. For him, the ultimate flex isn't what's in your bank account, it's what you build with it. In a world where power is often abused, Tyler Perry quietly redefines what it means to be rich. Issa Rae. Issa Rae rose to fame through her breakthrough series Insecure, but long before HBO deals and red carpet appearances, she was creating content on YouTube with nothing but a camera and a mission. That grassroots energy still defines her, even as she's become one of the most powerful black creatives in Hollywood. While her career has skyrocketed, bringing her producing deals, acting roles, and a multi-million-dollar partnership with Warner Media, Rae remains remarkably grounded in how she lives. Known for her authenticity and community-focused mindset, Rae avoids the excess and image obsession that often comes with fame. Rather than splurging on luxury brands or flaunting wealth on social media, she's more likely to be seen investing in businesses that serve her community. Rae is a co-owner of Hilltop Coffee Plus Kitchen in Inglewood, a black-owned cafe she helped launch to support local creatives and entrepreneurs. Her wealth, estimated to be in the multi-millions, is channeled into legacy building, not luxury living. She has openly said that she doesn't care for the flash of Hollywood and values her privacy. Rae got married in a quiet ceremony in the south of France in 2021 and keeps her personal life almost entirely offline. Her home and lifestyle reflect modesty and intention, not celebrity opulence. More importantly, Rae continues to use her influence to open doors for others. Through her production company, Huri Media, she prioritizes black and underrepresented voices. Her actions speak louder than any designer wardrobe ever could. While many in her position are seduced by fame, Issa Rae remains focused on impact. She doesn't live like she's poor out of necessity, but because she refuses to let money change her mission. In every way that matters, her power lies not in what she owns, but in what she builds. Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson is one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood, with over $27 billion in worldwide box office grosses, thanks to franchises like Avengers, Star Wars, and The Incredibles. Yet despite being one of the highest-paid actors in the world, Jackson has never adopted the glitzy lifestyle many associate with superstardom. He lives with a level of simplicity and privacy that stands in stark contrast to his massive success. Born in Washington, D.C., and raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Jackson's modest upbringing left a lasting impression. Even as he climbed the Hollywood ladder, he retained a deep sense of practicality. He's not one to flaunt designer wardrobes or boast about his wealth. In interviews, Jackson has openly said he doesn't need the celebrity lifestyle to feel fulfilled. He'd rather spend quiet time with his wife, actress LaTanya Richardson, and focus on projects that challenge him artistically. Unlike many stars who crave constant attention, Jackson rarely shares details of his personal life. He has no interest in being the center of the Hollywood social scene. When he's not working, he keeps a low profile, opting for time at home or traveling quietly with family. His car collection is modest by celebrity standards, and he doesn't surround himself with security teams or paparazzi-ready entourages. What drives Jackson isn't luxury, it's craft. He's taken roles in both blockbuster hits and indie films, always aiming to grow as an actor. He's also vocal about social justice and uses his platform to advocate for voting rights and racial equity, not self-promotion. Samuel L. Jackson may be worth millions, but his life is built around intention, not indulgence. He lives modestly not because he must, but because he chooses to live with purpose, not performance. Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is a two-time Academy Award winner and one of the most revered actors in cinematic history. With a career spanning over 4 decades, he could easily lead a life of luxury, surrounded by mansions, yachts, and constant media attention. Instead, Washington has chosen a path that prioritizes faith, family, and humility. Despite having a net worth of over $280 million, he lives modestly and keeps his personal life guarded from the flashbulbs of Hollywood. Washington was raised in Mount Vernon, New York, by a Pentecostal preacher father and a beauty salon owner mother, an upbringing that instilled in him a strong moral compass. To this day, he credits his grounded nature to those early lessons. He's a devout Christian and has said that his spiritual life guides not only his choices in roles but how he manages his money and fame. While many celebrities showcase their success through lavish purchases, Washington shuns excess. He lives in a relatively understated home and avoids the social media spotlight entirely. Known for his discipline, Washington treats his craft with the same seriousness as a calling. He famously avoids the party scene and rarely attends Hollywood events unless required. He doesn't need to prove anything through luxury cars or designer brands. His reputation is built on substance, not style. In addition to his understated lifestyle, Washington is deeply committed to philanthropy. He has donated millions to organizations like the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, where he once spent time as a child. His charitable work, however, is done quietly, without spectacle. Denzel Washington could live like a king, but he chooses to live like a man who understands that character, not cash, defines success. In a city built on image, he continues to lead with integrity, humility, and purpose. Octavia Spencer. Octavia Spencer may have taken home an Oscar for The Help and starred in countless acclaimed films, but you won't find her living in a mansion in Beverly Hills or flaunting her wealth on red carpets. Despite a net worth reportedly in the $14 million range, Spencer leads a quiet, unpretentious life, grounded in the values of hard work and humility that were instilled in her growing up in Montgomery, Alabama. The second youngest of 7 children raised by a single mother, Spencer learned early on the importance of perseverance and gratitude. She's carried that perspective with her into Hollywood, where she's consistently chosen roles and projects that reflect integrity over glamour. Even as her career has soared with films like Hidden Figures and Ma, she's stayed far away from the celebrity lifestyle. She lives simply, rarely indulging in luxury brands or showy possessions, and chooses to keep her private life exactly that, private. Spencer doesn't spend her wealth on status symbols. Instead, she invests in what matters: close friendships, purposeful storytelling, and charitable giving. She's a passionate supporter of literacy programs and children's charities, often donating quietly without seeking media attention. Her friends have described her as fiercely loyal and refreshingly down-to-earth, someone who prefers game nights at home over Hollywood galas. She has spoken candidly about her struggles with self-worth and the importance of staying authentic in an industry that often rewards appearance over substance. For Spencer, success isn't about how much you earn, it's about what you do with it and how you treat others along the way. Octavia Spencer proves that you don't need flash to be powerful. She may walk red carpets, but her feet stay firmly planted on the ground. In a world of status and spectacle, she's a quiet force of strength and sincerity. Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman may be remembered as a global icon after Black Panther, but those who knew him best recall a man who lived quietly, humbly, and with deep purpose. At the height of his fame, Boseman was not buying flashy cars or throwing lavish parties. Instead, he maintained a minimalist lifestyle, often focusing on service and storytelling over status. While his net worth was estimated at around $12 million at the time of his death, Boseman never let money or fame define him. Raised in Anderson, South Carolina, by working-class parents, Boseman never lost touch with his roots. After attending Howard University, where he studied under the mentorship of Felicia Rashad and was supported by a scholarship funded by Denzel Washington, Boseman carried those values of gratitude and community into every aspect of his life. He never chased headlines. Instead, he sought out roles that uplifted Black voices and told stories of resilience. 42, Get On Up, Marshall, and of course, Black Panther. Even while privately battling colon cancer, Boseman continued to work, delivering powerful performances without ever disclosing his diagnosis. He visited children in hospitals, gave generously to causes supporting the Black community, and rarely spoke about his own pain. Friends and collaborators often described him as quiet, introspective, and deeply generous. He didn't own sprawling mansions or collect luxury vehicles. He invested in people. He walked through life with intention and used his platform to inspire without ever exploiting his position. Boseman's version of wealth was defined by impact, legacy, and purpose. Though he passed away in 2020 at the age of 43, Chadwick Boseman left behind something far greater than riches. He lived like he was poor, not out of necessity, but because he was rich in values, vision, and humility. Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is one of the most recognizable faces in modern cinema, known for roles in Fruitvale Station, Creed, and Black Panther. But unlike many of his peers, Jordan has managed to maintain a lifestyle that's remarkably low-key, intentional, and grounded, even with a net worth estimated at over $25 million. Rather than buying up estates or flaunting his earnings, he keeps his private life out of the spotlight and his spending focused on the future. Jordan began acting at a young age, but his breakout role came with The Wire in 2002. Since then, he's been on a steady climb, never rushed, always thoughtful. What's most impressive isn't just his talent, but the way he's used his success to build, not boast. He founded his own production company, Outlier Society, which champions underrepresented voices and insists on inclusion riders in contracts to ensure diverse hiring. For Jordan, success isn't about the material, it's about legacy. He's spoken openly about growing up in Newark, New Jersey, and how watching others fall into the trap of sudden fame shaped his mindset. While he can afford the finest things, Jordan rarely flashes wealth on social media and chooses not to live extravagantly. Instead, he focuses on investments, philanthropy, and supporting his family. His home is tasteful but not ostentatious, and his lifestyle reflects discipline rather than indulgence. Jordan also supports various causes, from racial justice to youth mentorship. He's vocal when it counts but prefers action to attention. When he's not on set, he values downtime with close friends and family, far from the noise of Hollywood. In an industry where many confuse visibility with value, Michael B. Jordan proves that you can be powerful without being loud. He's building wealth with wisdom, and living with purpose, not pretense. Lupita Nyong'o. Lupita Nyong'o may be one of the most elegant and respected actresses of her generation, but off-screen, she lives far from the Hollywood stereotypes of glitz and excess. After winning an Academy Award for her role in 12 Years a Slave, Nyong'o quickly became a global icon. Yet, rather than chasing designer lifestyles and non-stop media attention, she made a conscious decision to keep her life simple, focused, and deeply connected to her roots. Born in Mexico City and raised in Kenya, Nyong'o's upbringing shaped her values early. She grew up in a family of academics and politicians who emphasized education, purpose, and humility over status. Even after achieving international success, she continues to split her time between the US and Kenya, returning often to stay grounded and engaged with her heritage. Nyong'o is known for her striking red carpet fashion, but in her personal life, she avoids showiness. She doesn't flaunt her wealth on social media and is rarely seen at celebrity parties or luxury vacations. Instead, she spends her time working on projects that matter to her, both creatively and socially. A passionate advocate for diversity, representation, and cultural preservation, Nyong'o has written books, narrated African folktales, and supported initiatives focused on girls' education in Kenya. She lives modestly, focusing on emotional wealth, self-expression, and community. Her travel, wardrobe, and lifestyle all reflect a philosophy of intentional living, never performative, always authentic. While many stars chase success, Lupita Nyong'o finds peace in quiet, art in simplicity, and power in remaining connected to where she came from. She doesn't live like she's poor out of necessity, she lives that way out of wisdom. In a world that celebrates materialism, Nyong'o is a rare figure who shows that grace, talent, and humility can shine even brighter without the glare of wealth. Viola Davis. Viola Davis is the definition of excellence in Hollywood, yet she lives with the kind of humility that makes her success even more powerful. With an Academy Award, an Emmy, and a Tony under her belt, Davis is one of the few entertainers to earn the coveted Triple Crown of acting. But beyond the accolades, she is a woman shaped by hardship, and that has influenced how she lives her life today. Born in St. Matthews, South Carolina, and raised in poverty in Central Falls, Rhode Island, Davis has never shied away from sharing her story. She grew up in rat-infested apartments, often hungry, and lived through the kind of economic struggle that leaves permanent emotional marks. Even after earning millions and becoming one of the most respected actresses in the world, Davis has remained grounded, guided by her past rather than haunted by it. Davis lives modestly with her husband, Julius Tenon, and their daughter. She's not known for collecting luxury cars or flaunting expensive jewels. Instead, her focus has always been on her work, her family, and the causes she holds dear. Davis is a fierce advocate for fighting child poverty and food insecurity, causes she supports with both her time and resources. In 2020, she donated to programs feeding millions of children during school shutdowns, no headlines needed. She's also vocal about mental health, representation, and the importance of authentic storytelling. Through her production company, Juvie Productions, Davis is actively changing the landscape of Hollywood by creating space for narratives that center Black lives with nuance and power. Viola Davis could live extravagantly, but she doesn't. Her wealth is used to heal, empower, and uplift, not to impress. In every sense, she lives like she remembers what it means to have nothing, and that empathy is what makes her truly extraordinary. Forest Whitaker. Forest Whitaker is an Oscar-winning actor with a career spanning over 4 decades, yet you'll never find him boasting about his wealth. Known for his deep, contemplative roles in films like The Last King of Scotland, Bird, and Ghost Dog, Whitaker has always brought a quiet intensity to the screen, and he brings that same calm and humility to real life. Despite having a reported net worth of over $30 million, his lifestyle is the definition of understated. Rather than investing in flash, Whitaker pours his time, energy, and finances into global humanitarian work. In 2012, he founded the Whitaker Peace and Development Initiative, WPDI, an organization focused on promoting peace, education, and entrepreneurship in conflict-ridden regions like South Sudan, Uganda, and Mexico. He travels regularly to these areas, not as a figurehead, but as a hands-on activist, speaking with youth and local leaders about sustainable change. Whitaker's commitment to service is deeply spiritual. A practicing Buddhist, he often speaks about compassion, empathy, and mindfulness, values that shape his approach to both his work and his wealth. While many of his peers in Hollywood seek attention through luxury, Whitaker avoids the spotlight whenever possible. He lives simply, dresses modestly, and focuses more on emotional and social impact than material success. In interviews, Whitaker has said that fame and fortune are fleeting, but leaving behind a legacy of service is what truly matters. Whether on set or in war-torn villages, he's the same thoughtful, grounded person. He doesn't live like a Hollywood elite, he lives like a global citizen with a mission. Forest Whitaker may have all the trappings of success, but he chooses to live like he's poor, because for him, true richness is measured not in dollars, but in dignity, peace, and purpose. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg is a household name, an EGOT winner, and a decades-long presence in film, television, and talk shows. Yet despite her fame and fortune, Goldberg lives with an everyday simplicity that defies her status. With a net worth estimated at over $60 million, she could easily indulge in all the extravagance that Hollywood offers, but that's never been her way. Born Karen Elaine Johnson and raised in the Chelsea Elliott housing projects of New York City, Goldberg's path to success was anything but easy. She worked as a bricklayer and mortuary cosmetologist before breaking out with her Oscar-nominated role in The Color Purple. That blue-collar upbringing has stuck with her, and even after rising to the top of the entertainment world, she has held tight to her no-frills lifestyle. Goldberg is known for being fiercely private, and she's open about disliking large crowds, flashy events, or showy displays of wealth. She lives in a cozy home in New Jersey, drives herself, and wears what's comfortable rather than what's trendy. Off-screen, she's deeply involved in philanthropy and social justice work, supporting causes ranging from LGBTQ+ rights to homelessness and racial equity. Unlike many of her peers, Goldberg doesn't feel the need to prove her worth through image. She's repeatedly said that money is a tool, not an identity. Her wealth supports her family, her causes, and her independence, nothing more. She once joked that if she weren't working on The View, she'd be happily living a quiet life out of the spotlight. For Whoopi, the measure of a life well lived isn't about luxury, it's about impact, laughter, and truth. She doesn't live like she's poor because she has to. She does it because she knows exactly what matters, and she refuses to waste her time, or her money, on anything else. Mahershala Ali. Mahershala Ali is a two-time Academy Award winner, widely respected for his depth, talent, and quiet dignity. He's reached the heights of Hollywood stardom with unforgettable roles in Moonlight, Green Book, and True Detective, yet his lifestyle remains strikingly humble and intentional. With an estimated net worth of over $20 million, Ali could easily immerse himself in luxury, but instead, he chooses a life centered on faith, family, and purpose. Ali is a devout Muslim who converted to Islam in 1999. His spiritual beliefs are not just a personal compass, they guide nearly every aspect of his life. He doesn't drink, doesn't chase fame, and is selective about the roles he takes, often turning down projects that conflict with his values. Rather than embracing the Hollywood spotlight, Ali prefers to keep a low profile and rarely appears in gossip headlines or extravagant fashion spreads. He lives quietly with his wife, artist and composer Amida Sami Karim, and their daughter. They maintain a relatively private and grounded family life, avoiding the chaotic energy of Hollywood's party scene. When he's not filming, Ali prefers to be at home, enjoying quiet moments with his loved ones and focusing on spiritual growth. Despite his immense talent, Ali has no interest in celebrity excess. He's rarely seen in flashy cars or wearing designer labels for attention. His red carpet appearances are elegant but understated, never showy. He's also deeply involved in mentoring young artists and supporting social causes, using his influence to uplift others rather than elevate himself. Regina King. Regina King has been a force in entertainment since her breakout role in 227, building a multi-decade career that includes an Academy Award, 4 Emmys, and directing credits in both film and television. With her accolades and an estimated net worth exceeding $16 million, King could easily live a life of luxury and visibility, but she's deliberately chosen a different path, one rooted in modesty, privacy, and intention. King has often said she doesn't care for the spotlight when she's not working. Unlike many stars who chase visibility through luxury brands and paparazzi exposure, King leads a quiet life focused on creativity and authenticity. When she's not in front of the camera, she's often behind it, directing socially conscious projects like One Night in Miami and producing work that highlights underrepresented voices. Raised in Los Angeles by a single mother who emphasized discipline and self-respect, King carries those early values with her. She has spoken openly about how fame has never been the goal. She values the work, not the perks that come with it. She rarely makes headlines for parties or shopping sprees, and she has no desire to turn her personal life into a brand. Her lifestyle reflects simplicity and thoughtfulness. She keeps her home life private and prefers spending time with close friends and family. Even her fashion choices, stylish but unpretentious, speak to her grounded personality. She's known to support causes like racial justice, mental health awareness, and women's empowerment, but often does so quietly, without fanfare. Janelle Monáe. Janelle Monáe is known for her bold artistic expression, from her futuristic music videos to her groundbreaking film roles in Hidden Figures, Moonlight, and Glass Onion. Yet behind the theatrics and style lies a fiercely grounded individual who lives a surprisingly modest life. With a net worth estimated around $12 million, Monáe has the means to live extravagantly, but she's intentionally chosen not to. Born in Kansas City, Kansas, to working-class parents, a janitor mother and a truck-driving father, Monet learned early the value of hard work and humility. Even after gaining worldwide fame, she remains closely connected to her family, often citing their influence as the anchor that keeps her from getting lost in the glitz of the entertainment world. While her performances are vibrant and avant-garde, Monet's real-life priorities are rooted in activism and purpose. She's been a vocal advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, racial justice, and gender equality. Instead of investing in flashy homes or designer brands, she uses her platform and resources to amplify marginalized voices and fund progressive causes. Her nonprofit, Femme the Future, supports women and non-binary creatives in music, film, and tech. Monet lives a private and introspective life when she's not working, rarely posting personal content and often retreating from social media to focus on her art. She said in interviews that peace and freedom are her biggest luxuries, not material things. Her home reflects a minimalistic, artistic sensibility, filled more with books and records than with status symbols. Despite her growing influence, Monet remains radically human. Her lifestyle isn't about resisting wealth, it's about redefining it. In an industry driven by excess, Janelle Monáe lives like she's poor, not because she lacks money, but because she's rich in authenticity, artistry, and conscience. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes was once one of the highest-paid action stars in the world, known for iconic roles in Blade, White Men Can't Jump, and New Jack City. At his peak in the late 90s, Snipes was commanding millions per film and living a life that many would consider lavish. But after financial turmoil, including a highly publicized prison sentence for tax evasion in 2010, Snipes dramatically restructured his life, opting for simplicity and caution over extravagance. Snipes has publicly acknowledged the mistakes that led to his downfall, including surrounding himself with poor financial advisors and living well beyond his means. After serving nearly 3 years in federal prison, he emerged a changed man, more introspective, financially conscious, and deeply focused on rebuilding with intention. Today, Snipes maintains a modest lifestyle. He's kept a relatively low profile in Hollywood, choosing roles more selectively and avoiding the red carpet circuit. No longer living in multi-million-dollar mansions or driving exotic cars, he instead emphasizes personal wellness, spiritual growth, and family time. In interviews, he's spoken about reconnecting with martial arts, Eastern philosophy, and a deeper sense of purpose. It's clear that his priorities have shifted far away from status symbols. Snipes has also pursued creative ventures outside of acting, including writing and producing, and has spoken about developing projects that uplift rather than exploit. He's even co-authored a sci-fi novel, expanding his artistic reach in quieter, more meaningful directions. Cicely Tyson. Cicely Tyson was a legend in every sense of the word, an Emmy and Tony winner, Oscar honoree, and trailblazer who redefined what it meant to be a black woman in Hollywood. Yet despite a celebrated career spanning over 7 decades, Tyson lived with a level of modesty and humility that few in the industry ever emulate. Until her passing in 2021 at the age of 96, she remained remarkably grounded, even as her legacy grew to towering heights. Tyson never chased fame or fortune. She was meticulous in choosing her roles, turning down work that she felt degraded or stereotyped black women. As a result, her filmography was not only powerful but purposeful. Sounder, the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, Roots, and The Trip to Bountiful all reflected her deep sense of social responsibility. That same intentionality extended to how she lived her life. While many of her peers sought status through mansions and media attention, Tyson lived simply and privately. She often stayed in the same New York apartment for years, valued solitude, and preferred quiet moments with family and close friends over public spectacles. Even as her fame rose, she remained careful with money and unimpressed by the trappings of wealth. Tyson also devoted her time and resources to education, youth empowerment, and civil rights. She supported numerous scholarships and frequently gave back to the community, quietly, without cameras or credit. In her 2021 memoir Just As I Am, released just days before her passing, She wrote candidly about her values, struggles, and the importance of staying true to oneself. Cicely Tyson lived like she was poor, not because she lacked resources, but because she never let wealth define her. She found richness in integrity, strength in simplicity, and honor in a life lived with purpose. Her legacy is not measured in dollars, but in dignity. These stars prove that true wealth isn't about luxury, it's about purpose, values, and staying grounded. Which celebrity's lifestyle inspired you the most? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and share your thoughts below. And for more powerful stories that celebrate Black greatness, make sure to subscribe to the Legends of Black Excellence channel. Your support helps us keep honoring those who lead with integrity, not indulgence.